Transitioning or
no? It's my aunt.
Hey, you should if you're gonna tell us you're gay, you should probably keep it in because I don't know if the viewers are gonna like the fact that you're gay.
My aunt watched our hangout from 2 weeks ago on my channel,
Mm-hmm.
and she was saying she's like, she's like I really enjoyed it. She's like, I love you, I love Yamo. She's like, I'm not sure about that Curious HVAC guy though.
what? Why?
Why?
I don't know. I said, yeah, I don't know about him either.
Oh my god!
What was that? What's her beef?
Jeez.
Yeah.
Yeah. What's
They're all in love.
Did she give you a specific reason?
No, I was like really tired. It was like 11 o'clock at night or something that I saw it.
That's
so I just
too funny.
Is it because I remind her of one of her exes?
Maybe.
Probably. I
Oh,
remind her too much of an ex-lover, I'm sure.
an ex-lover.
A lot of people tell me that.
It's guaranteed it. That's what it is.
Mm-hmm.
So we're back
Peter says,
2 weeks
Peter
later.
says nobody cares.
You know,
about gay.
I need to preface that by saying, you know what? That is a kind of a dickhead comment that I keep making about Adam being gay. And I am joking, and I know I'm being an asshole. It really doesn't matter. We really don't care.
It's because he really is.
Yeah.
I think I'm just secretly hoping that he is because I'm harboring some fucking pent up
You have a crush.
emotions that
You have
I'm,
a crush on
you know,
me.
I honestly, I think, come on, let's be honest about it. Most people that are afraid of that kind of stuff are really hiding something. Like, you know,
We always thought you were going for the girls in the pineapple party, but
Me and Chris had a conversation about hiding something earlier, didn't we, Chris?
Mm-hmm.
yeah. And I told you I don't want to see that, Bill.
Whenever they have those parties,
Good God.
whenever they have those parties at them, you know, it's a couple thing, right? So,
So,
anyways,
speaking of weird stuff, yeah, that's not the weirdest thing we've talked about. Luckily, you know.
I know only here. Right?
Someday, you know, we should do like a behind the scenes before the show type of thing,
where the show is
people
actually the hour that we BS before the show.
Yeah, like pre-show, but we won't actually show it before the show. We'll just record it and show it some other time.
But if we showed that, then we wouldn't. If we knew that we were going to show it, then we wouldn't talk bad about the people that we talked bad about.
That's true. Yeah, we wouldn't say as many swear words as we say.
Yeah,
Joe wouldn't drop all those you know what bombs.
yeah.
You know what?
You know,
You know what?
Joe's genuinely like a very talkative person, but like on this show, he has this act where he just doesn't talk very much.
Joe's like Joe started off to be like the most gentle, subtle person I've ever met in my life.
Really?
And then
He's
after like
Canadian.
hanging out with us and texting and talking with us on a daily basis, like whenever he gets on with us, he's like, F this guy, F that guy. This is BS.
No,
what is
get
going
out
on here?
Yeah, that's true. That's true. I was there. I seen it all.
Wait, let's hold 1 second, guys. Since I just remembered again, I want to thank all the Facebook people. Our group grew so amazing, like 2K less than a year. That's awesome. It's a great bunch of guys, and
I've noticed that a
Girl.
lot of people are, there's a lot more people commenting lately. It's awesome. It makes me want to post more, and I hope other people want to post as well too.
it's positive. We don't.
Yeah, keep it
We
positive.
like to keep
people,
positive
Yeah.
on the most part.
Yeah. Even though we got 2,000 people, we really don't mind kicking you out if you're going to be a jerk in there. We don't
Right.
care. We don't care about the numbers. We
We-
just care about having a good time.
We like people,
know?
and
Some
Speak
people.
for yourselves, because I don't like people.
I like
Yeah,
everyone.
right.
Comes across, but I really don't.
Unless you're a politician, I love you.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's a fair one. I genuinely hate politicians, all of them in general. Oh, how was your guys' week, man?
Terrible.
That was all right. Did a lot of piping today. Actually, somebody wrote to me on Instagram after I did that small little piping before it gets cold, and they're like, did you really need to put a trap on the liquid? And I really didn't have to, but I
An
did
inverted
anyway.
trap or an actual trap?
Just an actual trap.
Because I thought you usually put inverted traps on the liquid, not an actual.
You could put inverted on the discharge to prevent it from coming back on the off cycle.
Yeah.
But a trap is fine too in the discharge, which I did, and but for the liquid, you don't really need anything. Plus,
Joe, let's be honest. You just wanted to match.
yeah, exactly. You
I'll
got
go for that one when you're going for aesthetics for sure. Yeah.
right, and like I said, the discharge, you could put it inverted. I put both. I just want to make sure I get that same velocity, that oil pickup, regardless. The inverted, you could do the inverted. You could do a back check. If your line is sized right, you don't need probably anything. To be honest. Plus, you got a crankcase heater. It's just migration, right?
You ran that pipe fast, Joe. You sent us a picture where there's like copper on the ground, and then like I felt like it was like 20 minutes later, and everything's like strapped up and on the building. I'm like, what
Yeah.
the?
Yeah.
Like
I have
2
to admit,
days later for me.
I don't know how I did. I had a helper with me, but honestly, I did do that quick today, and this is my quickest ever did it. And like I said, I did everything on the driveway, on the parking lot. And then I put a little hook where I was going over the roof edge. So it helped me when I got it up there. The guy was there, it stayed there, and I already had my unistrut mounted with my bushing holder clamps, cushion clamps.
Push clamp.
Yeah, cushion clamps, and I just kept on going down with my unistrut, and before you know it was done, I was out of there. And off to the next job.
There's another. I can't remember. It's not cush clamps. It's called something else.
Cushiotherm has the insulation built around it. It's a big giant piece. And so basically you put it on the suction line and it has, you just button the insulation up to it and it's like perfect.
Well, I've used those, and there's also another one that looks like a cush clamp that it's like hard plastic. You slide the pipe through it, and then it comes out, and then your Armorflex goes on the inside, and basically there's like only an 1/8 inch gap.
I've seen that one before too. I haven't purchased that one. I've just done the Cushiotherm where you just push the Armorflex up to it and then you tape it with like rubber tape. That works out nice. It especially when you're dealing with refrigeration, you deal with that stuff, because on air conditioning it's not that big of a deal, but on refrigeration, when you get into low temp, you start to get ice, and yeah, that gets to be a pain in the butt.
Good to see HVAC radio. Sorry to cut you off. HVAC radio in here with the podcast, right?
Yeah.
Ruben? Yeah, that's awesome. Good to see you.
Yeah, HVAC radio is, I believe it's actually Cameron. Cameron's one of the guys that's on that show too. So if you guys haven't already, go check out that podcast. It's definitely a cool podcast. Again, I don't know everybody's names. I know it's Cameron. I know it's Rookie Refrigeration Ruben. It's Ulysses Palacios. And the other guy's name, forgive me, I do not remember his name. I'll think of it in a minute. But yeah, it's a great every episode I've listened to has been awesome. So
How many episodes would that be?
I want to say 4 or 5 is
wow.
all that they've done.
That's
I
a
think it's 4, maybe.
True
Cameron,
fan.
maybe you can comment, but yeah, I
Around
want to say
there.
it's 4. Today was on a bunch of oil and stuff. It was really cool. Refrigeration.
Yeah, I heard a lot of good comments about that
Yeah.
episode for today. I haven't listened to it just yet.
Not
So-
today, no.
I did the it wasn't today. They release them on Mondays, but it takes me forever to get to
Last
them. So Chad, there you go. Chad is the other guy's name. Yeah. So I did that job I was talking about where I had to lift that 7.5 ton compressor onto the roof this
Yeah.
last week. It really wasn't that big of a deal. I made it a bigger deal than it really was. But I had to make a gantry lift out of Unistrut, lift it up there. I did make a mistake on the Unistrut though, and I'll show it in a video, but when I went to go lift it, I didn't brace the bottom enough. So I used like a T fitting. And so as I got the load on there, the gantry started to flex because on the bottom where I had a T, and you'll see in the video, but it's
Yeah.
all good. When I got the compressor up there, even with it flexing, I got it up there, no problem.
Oh,
And
yeah.
then when I went to go drop everything down, I put some support straps on it. So that way it wouldn't flex anymore. But
So
Now I want. Go ahead.
Oh, I was just gonna say, like you were talking about before, your pulley, the pulley itself, and the trolley that you get, the Unistrut trolley,
Yeah.
like the weight that it's rated for. And I remember, I don't know if anyone knows this in the chat, but when you were using, you had a 4-to-1 pulley, right?
yeah,
So that is, you're actually putting 4 times the weight of the compressor onto the trolley, I believe.
4-to-1 ratio kind of thing.
yeah, you were saying that. And I haven't.
You know who would know
honestly
this is
looked it up.
Clive. Clive would know it. He's like the genius of all.
Yeah, I haven't
Yeah, he
looked-
just
looked
said
it
he
up.
spotted the lack of base
yeah, I've
braking.
seen that. So I learned that real quick when I went to go do it. I was like, oh no, it flexed. But then like I said, I got it up there, and the trolley, to be honest with you, was a weak spot too, because as I was lifting, because I wasn't on a level roof, the trolley wanted to travel. When I would let off the rope, it wanted to travel down, and it was pissing me off. And I'll make sure that when I edit it down, I'll show the crap I was going through.
So you should have just hired 2 helpers to stand there and then hold a piece of Unistrut between them, and then
Yeah.
put your gantry on that.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, a lot of people said I should have just used a ladder too, and just put the Unistrut across the ladder. But the problem with it is I was going over a roof access, and the ladder wouldn't have spanned the roof access unless I
Yeah.
put a 16-foot ladder up there. It wouldn't.
That's what I was
have spanned
asking why it's so high now than you told me. The other
Yeah.
thing is they had that Unistrut that has the holes on the other side as well, so you could add another T to the back.
it. Yeah, yeah.
So-
Mine didn't have the holes on the others. Well,
No, a lot of
No.
them don't unless you ask. It's called.
Yeah.
What's another name for it?
no. Mine had the holes on the other side,
Did it?
but I just didn't have long enough bolts.
Gotcha.
So,
Doesn't
but yeah.
all Unistrut have holes on the
No,
other
you can get
side?
solid.
No.
You can get solid Unistrut.
Yeah.
It's actually stronger.
Oh yeah, no,
Yeah.
you're right. Yeah,
Much stronger.
No.
You're right.
Yeah, I've seen that, the green stuff.
But it went pretty good. It lifted it up no problem. Even though, because it was just under a 40-foot lift, so even with the light weight of using the pulleys, it was still killing my arms just pulling that up. I wish I could have done a winch, but I had no electric. And within reach, I would have had to go get hundreds of feet of extension cord because this was on top of a shopping mall. So it was just easier just to do the rope. But it definitely didn't hurt. Like I told my helper, or the guy that was working with me, is in the past, because the compressor only weighed 75 pounds. So in the past, I would have probably just roped that up by hand. But my arms would have been jelly just from after doing the compressor, and I would have been shaking. And I can remember that feeling of pushing yourself to the limit and lifting things. And when you're done, your arms are shaking, because you're like, I shouldn't have done that,
Yeah.
I'm just so sick of not, I don't want to be hurt. I don't want my back to get hurt permanently or anything
No.
like that.
No.
So
Everyone's correcting me. They're saying it's not 4 times. I thought it was more because you're actually pulling down on it and the compressor.
I know there's more force, but to be honest with you, because when I was pulling it, I'm sure there's more force. There's got to be, okay? But when I was pulling down on it, I was kind of curious about that. So I was grabbing each rope. Like I was testing each rope to see. And yeah, there was definitely more weight on some of them, but I don't know. I think there would be more force thinking about it. I think there would be more force when you're doing your down pull for sure, because you're putting a heavier load on it.
That's what I'm saying.
but-
Like you're pulling down and the compressor's pulling down. I would feel like there's more weight on the trolley itself.
I would think, well, depending on, I don't know. Someone will have to explain it. Maybe someone,
Yeah.
I'm sure.
We
I tried
need
to
a-
watch some videos and stuff, and it was too much for my brain.
We need a pulley doctor.
Pulley doctor for sure.
Pulley doctor.
Yeah. But yeah, that went good. And the compressor replacement, I think it'll be my video this Sunday. The compressor replacement went good. And I went and autopsied the compressor after too, to try to figure out what happened with it. It was pretty interesting. The problem.
That was interesting. And
That was
I won't spoil it.
Yeah, that was really interesting. And I was really worried. So
is that the one that you kind of shared?
Yeah.
With the you cut
in our private chat. Yeah, that was one. Cool. It was really interesting because so what happened again, to recap it, we had a service call for an AC not working a couple months ago because it took them forever to approve it. The unit had a bad reversing valve. The reversing valve was cracked on the discharge inlet on the reversing valve. So I was like, I was worried about there being damage. And it ended up being a bad compressor. So I guess I'm spoiling a little bit of it, but I think I already released some of that on Instagram. So
yeah.
But yeah, it was interesting when I finally autopsied the compressor to figure out what failed in it. I've never seen this failure before. So it kind of blew my mind.
Yeah, me either. That was pretty neat. It's funny because scrolls is so hard to, unless it's a burnout, it's so hard to get in depth and see what really happened to that scroll. Yeah. But in your
this one's obvious. Yeah. And you know what? I finally, and it takes, after you cut up like 3 or 4 scrolls, you finally realize where to cut at. And then you don't destroy anything. Like I can cut that thing up real easy now and be like, and I literally pulled the whole compressor out. So like I just cut the case off. When you're cutting a scroll, actually the easiest way to do it, there's a weld going down the front of the scroll, cut right on the weld. And then on the bottom of the compressor, right at the base, it's where it's welded to a base plate, cut all the way around on the base.
But aren't there those 3 dimples where it's like
it's pressed on those 3 dimples? Yeah, it's really interesting that on the bottom of a scroll is the only place that the whole assembly is welded. It's not even technically welded, but on the top there's those dimples that actually holds the whole assembly together. It's like pressed together.
Yeah.
Really interesting. But yeah, I cut it open and
so you cut that weld, and then you cut it at the bottom. Then would you just like kind of split that weld open to a really?
Yeah, I ended up on the other side. You can pry it if you want and kind of try to bend it, but I ended up doing another cut on the other side, just looking down the one. Oh, and I'm sorry, I cut the top off the compressor too.
Okay, that's what.
Yeah, you cut the top off and you pull it off like your Hannibal Lecter. And you can look down inside and you can see where to cut without damaging any of the compressor components.
And the funny thing is, we were all like kind of texting back and forth, and everyone's like, "What are you guys doing? We're all tired. We're miserable from this week. Everyone's exhausted." And what is Chris doing? He's like, "I'm outside cutting up compressors in my backyard, guys."
Yeah, I gotta admit, he got us there that time. That's for sure.
Yeah, the guy who's always busy.
You have a lot of energy. I couldn't have, I would like to do that. I don't know.
I got one in my garage right now that I can cut open. I barely even remember what was wrong with it.
I have a compressor boneyard. My wife came out the other day and she goes, "Are you collecting these things?" Because she didn't know what they were. And I go, "Oh yeah, those are all compressors that I want to cut open." And she goes, "Are you ever going to do it?" And I was like, "Probably not. I should probably start throwing them away."
You know, I wonder if the same guys I seen on the video on YouTube, Joe was mentioning about the guys at the HRI for the scrolls when they open up and they dissect them. Like, you know, they showed you guys in a group, or whatever. I was watching something on HVAC School, and it was pretty neat. I gotta admit, it was pretty neat.
Was that that was a scroll you were watching, or was that because I saw one on
actually that was a semi-hermetic, I believe.
That was like
scroll from what I heard, and Joe's saying right now in the chat, Joe Shearer is saying, and then also I heard on the HVAC radio podcast today that they were talking about rebuilding scrolls, and I was like, I didn't know that they rebuilt scrolls. I never knew that.
Doesn't seem like it'd be cost effective.
Maybe on the giant ones. I've never heard that, but I heard them say that on HVAC radio, and then I heard Joe saying something about that, or I seen Joe say that in the chat.
Do you think you could like order an internal part from a compressor?
Oh,
I don't know, but like to do it yourself.
I'm just saying, like, you know, is it possible? That would be a really cool thing to try to do, right? Like if you had a compressor that failed, you cut it open, you found like a little something that went wrong inside of it.
In my case.
Yeah. So anyway,
the problem that I found in mine, I could replace that one part.
That was like what happened.
Like no way.
What I went to the train factory. I saw Snowball, and what happened was somebody warranted a compressor that wasn't bad, and they have an autopsy room. They cut open the compressor to see what's wrong with it, and they're like, "There's nothing wrong with this compressor." So they welded it back together, and they decided to try to run it in a flooded state and see how long it could run for. Well, it ran for like 20 some years or whatever, and it turned into an ice cube, right? Yeah. So my point is, Why couldn't you just cut open a compressor? And if you found what was wrong, if you could find the part for it, can you repair it and weld it back together?
It's sealed, yeah. So you have to weld it back and make sure your welds.
I mean, even on most Copeland, even on the small Copeland scrolls, when you cut them apart, I mean, the parts that are inside are technically replaceable. I mean, it's not like they're all welded together in a million. I mean, you know.
So you just.
But I mean, you know, there's some things you would have to do. Like you would have to really weld the body, and I'm sure once you get into the bigger giant ones, maybe it becomes more cost effective.
Yeah,
I don't know.
I'm not saying to try to
like the body's compromised. Yeah, there's a safety issue there. You'd have to, I assume, have it X-rayed once you weld it.
My point is not trying to make a repair on a compressor. I just thought it would be a cool experiment or something to do. You know?
Yeah.
Sure.
Well, if you're not making the repair on the compressor, what's the experiment?
Well, no, I'm saying I'm not trying to put it back into commission in somebody's house or business. Like, try it in your garage or shop. You know what I mean? Like, in a controlled environment. You know?
Do you see Red Fathom? Oh wait, no. Who was it that said this? No, T-Lec. That's a hard name to pronounce for some reason. T-Lec in the chat says, "Why rebuild them when half of them are perfectly good, falsely diagnosed?"
True.
Good point.
Same as TXVs.
I know personally, if I don't understand it, it's the first thing I condemn.
Although I have had a lot of bad TXVs, right? I mean, bad as far as I think they all had to do. All of them that have gone bad have had that rust inhibitor problem. That was the ones that I've replaced, you know.
So in my world, and Bill's world a little bit too, the TXVs are all rebuildable.
Yeah.
So if it's a sport, as long as it's a Sportland TXV, I mean, you technically don't ever have to change the TXV. You just buy the components, or
you know, leave the body on there. And
hell, what you can do. I mean, if you're lazy, because I've done this many times, if you can safely get to the TXV where it's installed, if you want to be lazy about it, you can literally unbolt it and then just put all the components back in it and bolt it back together, and you don't have to braze ever.
Did you guys see that post on the Facebook group where like a homeowner posted the inlet screen to a TXV for a carrier unit?
Oh, I did.
A homeowner?
Well, yeah, because he didn't know what it was. He said he just had a HVAC system installed recently. Have you ever installed an evaporator coil from ICP, like Carrier, Bryant, anything? So you have, Joe?
Yeah. Well,
if you pull the plug on the liquid line knuckle, the liquid line, what do you call it? I call it knuckle. Everyone makes fun of me when I call it knuckles.
I guess, yeah.
When you pull the rubber plug out of the liquid line, if you pull the rubber or the liquid line first, the inlet screen shoots out.
Yeah.
You have to pull the suction on Carrier, otherwise the screen shoots out.
These things are too for my head.
You're right, Adam. You're right.
You look like the Terminator with that.
Someone said, "Where's my glasses?" And these things are way too small for my head.
I know, you know,
it's crazy because people are saying it in chat that Pakistan, India, and Cuba, they do rebuild the scrolls, and I could see that happening.
Yeah, but they probably bubble gum them back together.
Yeah,
I don't know. Those guys, that's what over in those countries. That's where men is men. Have you ever seen these guys like installing mini splits? Where like standing like 40 floors up.
They can install
brackets?
their stupid mini splits.
Yeah, they can do that,
sandals on 72 ladders taped together.
I'd rather be able to walk.
I would never do something like that. And
never.
Like, money is not good enough for me to do that. Money.
Let me ask you this: have you ever seen a mini split explode and kill 72 people in the United States?
Not yet.
No. Okay. Only in Pakistan or India or Zimbabwe or wherever.
I've never seen it kill that many people. I usually
know,
see it kills like one person at a time.
Fall down the ladder, get
a lot of places
paralyzed.
Oxygen is cheaper, and they
I
pressurize
remember I saw this video a few weeks back on Facebook where the indoor evaporator of a I guess you wouldn't call it evaporator unless you knew it was not a heat pump, right? But anyway, I'll call it an evaporator because that's what I want to call it. But the indoor evaporator was on fire, and this dude was just standing there shooting water at it. Like it was like an electrical fire. You could see like sparks and crap shooting out.
He's just like,
yeah.
Like, I'm trying.
Let me ask you this. This might be a little bit refrigeration-y, but
that's good. It's better than boiler-y.
On the smaller refrigeration equipment, if you ever go to sweat in like a 1/4 ton TXV, okay, it's got a 1/4 inch and a 1/2 inch fitting on it, not externally equalized. Hell, you can even do externally equalized. I don't care. But if you do the sweat in bodies, they come with a stupid little strainer that goes in the 1/4 inch line. Okay, the first thing I do when I install those TXVs is pull that strainer out and throw it in the trash.
Yeah.
That's what.
Okay, let me ask you this. Now, on a TXV that has a removable strainer, I understand why it's there. You can pump the system down, you can remove the strainer. But on a TXV that does not have a removable strainer and you put it in before you put the 1/4 line in and you sweat it in, what happens when the strainer plugs up? TXV stops working.
Yeah,
Of course.
So what's the stupid strainer even there for?
Yeah, how much does a TXV cost? Is it worth it? Right? Is it worth it? I don't know.
No, well, and think about it on that little tiny TXV again too. If you ever have a problem with the TXV and you go you want to rebuild it, the strainer's welded in. You can't clean the strainer.
Speaking of strainers and screens and that, I remember having a conversation with Joe probably last year about mixing valves. And I was like trying to diagnose this mixing valve. And I think what happened was, I can't remember if it was like somebody used a radiant mixing valve on a domestic line or a domestic on a, I don't remember. It was something goofy. But I was trying to figure out what was going on. They downsized it. And it wasn't working quite correctly. And Joe's like, check if there's a strainer. If there is, just take a screwdriver and freaking rip that thing apart.
Strainers are never good.
He's like, that's
no
what I do.
No matter where they are. Yeah.
Now, I totally understand. And I'll say, too, that I used to do hospital work for a big hospital out here. And we would get calls all the time for water source heat pumps not working or because they had water cooled everything. And you go out there. And it's like, dude, the condenser's fouled, completely plugged up, and then you go to pull the strainer and the strainer's missing. And you're like, what the hell? So I go to engineering and it's like, hey guys, the strainer's missing. Oh yeah, that plugged up. It keeps plugging up like every week. So we just took the strainer out. Come on, dude. Now I'm over here friggin'
nobody's like, hey, maybe we should clean the system out, change the dryer.
Joe Shearer is saying we are all stupid and you should leave strainers in. I'm not saying you should take them out. I'm just saying.
No, I'm saying on the weld-in valves. If you have a weld-in valve and the strainer is welded in, I don't see the purpose because if the strainer plugs up, the valve is not going to work. You're not going to unsweat a liquid line. At least I'm not going to unsweat a liquid line to try to pull the strainer out because you'll never get it out of like a 1/4 inch liquid line going into the valve. Now, on a strainer that's removable, heck yeah, I try to install, spoiling valves that have removable strainers, but I don't understand the concept in my world on the refrigeration stuff that I work on of having a strainer that's not removable.
So
yeah, when time is money on these commercial jobs.
I remember the point of the conversation.
Yeah.
The point of the conversation was the homeowner posted he found it on his floor after he had a furnace and air installed. And he's like, what is this? And like so many people commented, they're like, it's a strainer. What is it for? And they're like, oh, you don't need that. Just throw it in the garbage. Or somebody's like, but somebody's like, one day the TXV is going to be bad, and it really will be the TXV.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it was a funny little.
But maybe okay, and maybe the to be fair, if I'm installing a TXV, I'm installing it properly. I'm not plugging the system up. My systems aren't plugged up with crap. I pull vacuums, I change dryers when possible. Not every time. I braze with nitrogen. Yeah. So, I don't know. But I still don't. I'll argue that one to death. Like on my little reach-in coolers and stuff like that, I don't understand installing the strainer when it's welded in. There's no point, in my opinion. So
it's a dumb question, but you ever see a TXV that's been welded in backwards?
No.
I've seen everything else.
How is that even
possible?
Yeah, how would you do that?
I mean, I did.
They have to, he's like, hey, bud, I need a bushing from 1/2 inch to 1/4 inch.
And I need
and then I need a step-up bushing.
I had one of my guys go out and change a compressor one time, and he put the filter dryer on the hot gas discharge line, and like you had to repipe to put it there. Yeah.
Hot gas discharge, that causes the desiccant to blow up. So.
Oh yeah, it was amazing.
I remember that was that train unit you did, right?
Yeah. So I'm like,
you had to go back to him like 7 times to keep telling him, yeah, we need the NPV increase.
Everything was plugged up. You know, everything was just junk on that whole damn unit. And hindsight being 2020, I'm like, you should just replace that unit. But got me thinking because that same guy one time went out and replaced a TXV on his system, and he's like, man, this TXV is so much smaller. And then a week later, it was a callback, and I went out there and it's got this ginormous, oddly installed compressor, and somebody had oversized the compressor, and then to accommodate that, they just put a giant TXV in there. And I don't know if anybody's ever seen somebody put a TXV in backwards. I'm sure somebody in the world.
Listen, there was a couple pictures. I wish I had them handy that Yamo sent over that were freaking amazing. His
pictures are epic, dude.
The one was like a compressor where the guy didn't have the right size piping going to it, so he was like. What was it? He brought like three 3/8 lines down to the compressor and welded brazed them all together. And the other one was the ice cream shop, he said, where there was a train condenser and they laid it down on its side and they mounted it sideways.
Oh, I don't remember that picture.
Yeah. You almost got some doozies.
Oh, you know what? Dave
there was
B in
one
the
on
chat
the-
said he has seen a TXV welded in backwards. Sorry to cut you off, Chris. That's breaking
it's okay.
news.
Yeah, I've seen solenoids welded in backwards all day.
That,
long.
I was just gonna say that I seen solenoids too, and
Well,
Sean said it too. Pump
That's
down
the only way I
solenoids.
install them.
They'll
It's
never
very easy
shut.
to do it backwards.
Yeah,
though.
when
Those
they're
are-
welded in backwards, depending on the size, they'll just never shut. They'll
Yeah.
just
They do put
Perception.
arrows on things, right? They put arrows.
yeah, especially on solenoids. Usually they do have arrows.
Yeah, that's how I can tell that they're welded in backwards.
Well, if you don't know,
I had one.
I think maybe the guys just, hey, go put that in, and they don't understand what's going on in the unit, maybe, and that's how it happens. I'm not sure, unless it's an honest mistake.
And I feel like that's happening more and more lately, because we're throwing people in trucks so fast, and we're putting people out there, and we're having to trust technicians to do things that maybe they don't quite understand. And I think that common sense just isn't so common anymore.
Dude,
Absolutely.
you stole my freaking line. I'm really pissed. That's like the big picture diagnosis. I'm sending you a bill. I say that to my wife every
Fuck
day.
yourself.
No, you're
I'm
absolutely
gonna
right,
make a
Chris,
shirt with
honestly.
it. In fact, hold on just a second. Let me email my guy. I'm gonna
Oh
make,
yeah,
Your guy is my
your
guy,
is the
dick.
guy
Get a
Adam
shirt
knows.
tomorrow.
Hey Adam, if let's have a game here. If I ask your guy to make me something and you ask him to make you something, who do you think he's gonna make it for?
You.
He'll make it for me 100%.
You think?
Mm.
Because he's gonna charge me money, dumbass.
True.
He'll,
Charges Adam
what,
money,
like,
too.
what are you saying? Like, what are you trying to make?
I'm gonna make a shirt that says common sense isn't so common anymore.
He'll make it for both of us, but mine will just be a little bit better. I guarantee you.
I'm gonna have words with him. I'm gonna email him.
We should. Do you want to set him up? Let's try it out.
Yeah.
We're gonna go in for.
because I have to pay the money for mine, stupid.
It's gonna be his thing. Yeah, I get it for free.
Bill,
I get it for
So-
free.
are your Mr. Hankies shaped like fries or what? You've been working on a lot of fried stuff this week. What's going on there?
Oh man, I'm kind of sad that you brought that up, but
Tell
literally
me-
that's all I have to talk
Now?
about this
Tell
week.
him about the cheese thing.
Oh yeah, the cheese melt trying to go work on that was kind of new. You
Cheese
guys ever
melt?
work on a cheese melter?
No.
At this one particular restaurant, they have these ginormous bags of cheese, and they shove them into this machine so they can just squeeze all this cheese onto these sandwiches.
Oh,
And,
at least it's
it-
fresh, I guess.
oh,
Processed?
it's not fresh, Joe. It's
Oh.
not even real. It's like 3 molecules off from being shampoo. It's not good stuff at all.
Gotcha.
Let me
Yeah.
let me pause you real quick, Bill, and let me just reiterate the joke. I guess it's an inside joke that we kind of need to make sense.
Wow.
So the guy that makes my shirts and hats is Adam's best friend. So I'm not flexing on subscribers. Someone had said that in the comments. We're flexing on that's Adam's best friend, and I pay the dude to make shirts. So I'm joking, saying that he's going to make shirts for me because I pay him. And
These guys
Adam
are
pays
awesome.
too, but
I
Adam
think
gets
it's like
a 5-finger discount.
Yeah,
these guys in chat.
So anyways,
are awesome.
I'm sorry, Bill. Let's talk about your cheese melter.
I think
Go ahead.
now we should have an episode where we discuss like all the cool lingo new kids are using, because I've never heard anybody use the word flexing on stuff yet in a real life sentence.
You haven't?
Flag, man.
No.
That's flag,
Well,
man.
hey, I gotta
No,
tell
I
you
don't have it.
something.
I'm not cool.
I was reading on Facebook a post from my mother-in-law, and she said, she's like, Facebook blocked a couple of her posts because she posts a lot of political stuff, and she's like, does Facebook really think I'm a troll? And I'm like, you're like 75 years old. I didn't know like old people use the word trolls. Like,
Mhm.
That's funny.
It's crazy,
Well,
man.
you get a watch for
she's
his
not
family,
75.
yeah,
She's
Bill.
like 70. But anyway, what?
I mean, irregardless of all that, nobody's gonna be flexing on me tonight. Does that make sense? Am I using a word?
You're over
Yeah,
here
you-
using these big words like
If
irregardless.
you're gonna do that, I
Irregardless.
think you need to be wearing tight pants or skinny jeans or whatever they call them.
Flannel
No,
jacket.
no.
So I bought this
and a
pair.
monocle.
I bought this pair of pants, and I've been wearing them for I don't know a while. And then I looked at myself in the mirror, and I'm like, these are fucking skinny jeans. Like they're not skinny, but they're like. I looked and I'm like, or no, you know what? It was actually
Man.
I wore them, and someone videotaped me wearing them. And then I looked at myself in the videotape, and I from a distance.
Damn, look at that ass.
Those look like skinny jeans. How come nobody told me those look stupid? And I've been wearing them forever. I wore them at actually Brian Orr's event. And then I saw some video footage that someone gave me of it. And I'm like, dude, man, I don't want to wear those jeans anymore.
That reminds me of Spaceballs. You guys ever see Spaceballs where
I love that movie.
The president comes out and he beams snotty
Nobody told me my ass is so fat.
My ass is so big. And he scratches his crotch from behind or whatever. It's funny.
That movie has so many amazing jokes in it.
Hey, we're getting off the subject of Chris's skinny jeans here.
Mm-hmm. Chris, I mean, you should just embrace it. You're from California. Just do it.
Yeah, you blend right in.
California.
Yeah, you know, guys, it is dropping to about 60 degrees. I'm going to have to get my Ugg boots out. So,
do you have a typewriter yet? You need a typewriter.
That is a California thing, huh?
Yeah,
to make it clear, I do not own a pair of Ugg boots. Okay, my wife owns them. I do not own them, and I do not wear my wife's boots either.
My wife owns them. I just borrow them.
I don't know if you, maybe more Adam, sorry guys, because he works on some boilers. Have you ever changed refractory on a boiler, Adam?
Refractory? What the hell is that?
No, honestly, I'm always like really scared of it because like if you read in manuals and stuff, it's like do not disturb it, don't touch it, don't make it airborne.
It's asbestos or something, right? It's
like they don't call it asbestos, but I feel like it is asbestos, right?
Me too.
Hey Chris, do you ever calculate the glide on R404 in like 60-degree ambient temperatures if it's flowing through like a T valve, and you got to settle it down, but you don't want to get the TXV depressurized?
You know, yeah, but the glide on 448A is a lot bigger, and it's a little bit harder to calculate that. You know, especially when the discharge temp is so high. You know, coming back, who gives a fuck
how high
that shit?
Yeah, I hear it.
You lose the velocity as it goes through the refractory of the.
The point is, I think they're still using asbestos or something asbestos-like on boilers these days. I think they are.
Hey, Bill, when you calculate evaporator suction saturation temperature, do you use the midpoint temperature of the glide? Or do you use the...
I use the midpoint temperature, but I also measure the fin spacing before I make said calculations.
That's a good point. You know, when you calculate how long your defrost is going to be on a walk-in freezer, do you look for like 6 fins per inch or 4 fins per inch?
I look for more closer to 7 FPI. That's what
guys,
so my next question
is
what's
great about overtime. It's diverse. We have a mixture of everything. We can relate to a little bit of everything.
Yeah, but nobody cares about boilers.
Nobody
cares about freaking walking coolers.
If you look at the Facebook group, a lot of fans are from New York.
Yeah.
And in New York, they have a lot of boilers.
There's a lot.
You ever try to store food in a boiler?
No.
See,
have you ever tried to warm your nuts without a boiler?
That's true.
Guess what? No. Move to California, stupid, where it's warm.
I gotta tell you
something.
Can I say something cool I just saw for the first time?
Sure.
It's boiler related, but please just give me like 30 seconds, all right?
Go for it.
So this house had cast iron radiators, and they had this they had these copper little
thanks, Brian.
Something. They were like troughs that went through the radiator and went around on the outside, and they were supposed to fill it with water, and that's their humidification for the house.
Wait, so they pour water in there and it just evaporates and humidifies the house
with their cast iron radiator? Yeah,
that's interesting.
Yeah, that is
kind of interesting, actually.
Yeah,
I do have to say that some of those old radiators do intrigue me. When you see like the old ones in old high-rise buildings and different things like that.
Yeah, you want to buy some old radiators?
No, they're
out of your house, Bill.
Yes.
What we should talk about, is what we were talking about the other day, Adam, is about that steam humidifier in the attic.
Oh, so I think I've come up to a good conclusion for that. So I know everyone's going to freak out about this because everyone, it's like a big deal. I get it. I've done it a bunch of times, but installing a furnace, horizontal furnace in an attic, I install the condensing furnace.
Unconditioned attic.
Unconditioned attic. All right. I know this is a no-no, right? But I have done it many times, and what I've done is install heat trace on the trap of the furnace. You make sure you have your furnace pitched slightly forward, and you make sure you have a good pitch on your drain. Your drain's not too long. You install heat trace on your trap, and then all the way down on your drain, insulate the drain, and you're good. As long as the heat's not off for a long period of time, I guess, right?
Absolutely.
But yeah, they want a humidifier.
Steam humidifier.
They want. What are you doing, Chris?
I posted a picture for you to post right now that Yamo posted.
You want me to
screen share? This is Mexican ingenuity.
Oh, that's
Sweet.
legit.
You gotta admit that's pretty smart.
Wow.
Man.
That is, it would work, I guess.
Except the back of that fan is blocking a majority of that hole.
Yeah.
Like the
Wow.
the motor section is just about the same size as that hole. You'd be better off with a box fan.
That's the one I was talking about. The ice cream shop with the condenser sideways. Look at that.
That's genius right there,
That's
man.
legit.
There's no way that's going to affect.
I wonder if they
return.
would have taken the compressor out or something and put it on the ground or did something crazy with it. I don't know.
I want to know if it's true about these guys. I see them everywhere about them changing, like putting the head of a mini split ductless outside, and the condenser inside. Is that honestly true? Do guys like?
I don't.
What do they want? Heat? Like I don't get it. Why are they doing this?
I don't know. Who knows? I think half those pictures are fake and the other half are just idiots, right?
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, let's get back to this attic install you're talking about here.
Yeah, that was interesting.
So
Yeah, man.
the
It's a
guy,
discussion.
they're like,
Piqued my
I did not
curiosity.
want to. This is a crazy house, and I did not want to. I told them no in the beginning. I said no. I'm not putting a condensing furnace. I always tell people no about putting
You
a
smack
condensing
your
furnace.
hand as you said
I
it?
say no. I don't. I don't want to do it. I don't want to do it. But
COVID.
yeah, people are, when they have a lot of money, they're persuasive, and you
Go ahead,
try to figure
whatever.
out things,
It's a
whatever.
customer.
So anyway, yeah. So I've done it. I've done it like probably 4 or 5 times. It works fine. I've never had an issue. We've had polar vortexes, fine. But now they're pushing the limits. These people want a steam humidifier in their attic. Okay. And I was trying to think, I've been racking my brain and everything. And I think I figured out a way to do
I
it.
ask you a couple dumb questions so I'm not too
Sure.
lost in this conversation.
Yeah.
So they want multiple steam humidifiers in the attic.
2.
Do they have a forced air system already in the house, or do they have boiler heating system?
They have 3 furnaces in the house. 2 are in the attic. 2 condensing furnaces in the attic, and 80% in the furnace. They actually are in the basement. They also have a mini split.
And I need to ask a
Okay.
question because I wasn't listening. I kind of blacked out for the last 5 minutes. Is it an insulated attic or uninsulated?
No,
Un-
it's unconditioned space.
So I could only imagine that in a really cold climate with the steam humidifier that you're going to have issues in an uninsulated attic. Is that your fear?
That is my
course.
fear. But what I've come up with, I found 2 places where I have enough height. I'm not going to be able to actually have the steam humidifier with a pitch on the steam tube all the way up with the manifold in the plenum. But
Has to be though.
No, it doesn't have to be.
I always make sure my steam pitch is always gliding up.
No,
never.
No, not true. You don't have to do that. 100%. I've done it many times. You have to go up a certain amount, and then you can go downhill. You have to
Really?
You could pipe it in copper, and then right before you go into the distributor, the manifold, you
Yeah.
put a T
Yeah.
in copper. You go into the steam manifold, and then you have a trap. You have to put a trap and then a drain out of the trap.
Oh,
That's how you
and
do
this
it.
is for your feed for your
That's
steam.
for your feed. You have to have.
Wow.
So you have
I never-
2.
You know what?
Yeah,
Never
that's how you
seen
do
that
it.
before. I never even seen it in a manual saying suggest
telling
that
you.
if you can.
The April Air has it in their manual. Clean Comfort, which is made by Nortec, they have it in their manual. You could do it. I'm
Nortec, I
telling you.
don't see in Nortex, but anyways.
It's not Nortec. All right.
Bill, have you ever thought about how easy it is for refrigerant to fractionate? Like, I mean, you
Oh my
never
God.
worry about, the refrigerant. Let's say
Hold
you
on. We're at the climax, guys. I want to hear what he's gonna do. What's his his
I'm just fucking with
remedy?
you. I actually am interested in this.
Yes.
So
I hope
there's
so.
2 areas where I have the most height in this attic, and what I'm gonna
That's why I
have
said
the
Joe,
general
sorry,
contractor.
Adam,
What I'm
can't.
gonna have the general contractor do is use 2-inch foam board and basically build a small room, like a really small room for the
Cool.
humidifier, right? And I'm gonna have heat trace on all the drain and everything.
Yep.
I'm gonna actually take if you guys are familiar with high velocity like Space Pack or Unico, I'm going to take a supply off the plenum. I might not make it a full port supply. I'm going to pipe it over to this room so I have heat running in the room.
Like 3 inches.
Well, it's like a 2-inch duct, but I might not even
Okay.
go full. I'm going to look at the airflow, what's coming out of it, and I'm going to adjust it accordingly, right?
Cool.
But yeah, and then just have heat trace on everything and whatever. It's a stupid idea, but I'm sorry. Like I told them it's a stupid idea, but
Duckboard as your room. You can make it out of duckboard.
no, just like the 2-inch pink foam. But
Gotcha.
you can't fix stupid, right? Like
So
people.
I don't understand. Like can't they just get like inline duct humidifiers, like something a little more innovative, simpler?
Innovative?
I don't know.
Innovative.
I don't know what else you could really do. I mean, you don't have to. The one thing I'm worried about with steam is you have a big vat of water, right? It's a big vessel of water sitting there.
Yeah.
So that's like the main thing. Like regular humidifiers, you have like a trickle effect of water that comes down, like the
put a heat trace on the water feed and you're good.
Right.
Be with me.
So you have a vat of water, a vessel, and that's what I'm scared about. But I think if it's done properly, it's all right. We could do it.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. But your idea was good too. I think you said you were going to just build a box or like a small box, which would have been cool too. I think that's your only way, unless, like I said, mentioned it earlier, and Joe said it in chat, like just recently, is just remote mounted. But you can't. You're saying, right? You can't
I'm remote. I am remote mounting it.
But I'm saying out of the attic.
Oh, I can't do that. Can't do it. It's
Oh.
stupid. Let me tell you something else. My idea for this house, because if anyone saw, I posted a picture of the one furnace in the attic. There was another one even worse off than that one originally. And my idea was, let me rip these furnaces out, let me duct them over, and let me put rooftop units, package units on the roof for these.
Yeah.
And they said, what's the benefit of that? I said, it's going to be easily accessible and serviceable. Nobody's going to have to worry about it. And it's not going to cost you freaking $20,000 every time you have to change a furnace, right?
Yeah.
No, we don't really want them on the roof.
But I would argue that if a rich person's installing them on the roof, aren't they going to be in like a parapet, and would that fill up with snow?
The parapet?
Like, would you have a small parapet up there that would fill up with 3 feet of snow? Because you guys get a bunch of snow there.
I mean,
so
there's like a parapet on the front of the house, but it's a sloping roof to the back with no parapet.
Oh, okay. So it wouldn't fill up. Okay.
I want to know if those are allowed over here. Like, are people allowed to put those on this roof here? Because nobody does. Like, I think if someone would do that, they'll call the city and say, "No, this guy's a fucking unit on his roof."
Nobody. This is a 3-story house that's freaking huge and a monster, and you would never see it. Nobody would ever see the rooftop.
The roofs that I'm thinking of, like in California, we have them where these rich people have these giant mansions, and you can't even tell there's a parapet on the roof because they're just freaking huge mansions.
You're right.
So,
Like a commercial building.
Yeah, they could have like 6 air conditioners up there, and you wouldn't even know because this is some fancy rich person's house. But here in California, you can have that, but I could imagine where you get ridiculous amounts of snow, you couldn't have that here. So
yeah, and back, I want to backtrack. I don't want, in the last 5 minutes, we'll go free for all, but let me take a couple minutes. The reason why I mentioned that is because I had a little video I was going to share screen that this scared the shit out of me because I don't really do this much, and I was assisting this facility engineer, building engineer, to do it to save money. He wants me to assist him and be there, and I'm in there thinking I've done this so many times, and the thing after I finish, it starts smoking.
What'd you do? What was it?
The refractory. It starts smoking like the boy. I'm like, okay, maybe some oils, and then I called the company. I'm like trying to stay calm. I'm like, so this thing's smoking, and I'm here smoking. I'm like, it's gonna set off the alarm. So I'm secretly like, okay, they don't have alarm system here. It's too old. They don't have a thing. Okay, the fire, it's not gonna come. But dude, this thing started smoking and smoking.
So what do they say? It's got to burn off or what?
Well, I thought that's what they said. Oh, it's just the oils. It'll be fine. No. This is not just the oils. I ended up keeping the two, like, it's the old stuff is like concrete. It's like a slab.
And this is like it's like paper with particles. The new
stuff. It's like fiberglass. It's like, dude, this stuff was burning, and the burn shows on the outside. So if I didn't take this off, guaranteed it's going to a crisp. So I took 2 off and kept 2 on, but it just scared the shit out of me because I was like, this shit's gonna friggin' if I wasn't here, this thing's gonna smoke up. It all it is refractory. It just goes in the boilers. It maintains integrity, holds the heat in. It's just around the boiler.
I don't understand what that is.
It's white stuff that's supposed to be like a heat insulation, but they call it refractory. I'm pretty sure it has something to do with asbestos.
Is it like pressed into sheets?
Maybe.
Because on fryers, they have a lot of that sort of stuff. And if you start messing with it and like trying to move it around, it tends to crumble and fall apart and like just get everywhere.
Oh, no.
And then you breathe it in and then you feel bad.
You lick it?
Well, Chris, what's so funny?
Look in the fucking chat, dude.
What
happened?
Oh, shit. Someone said you're like Danny Nourian.
Who's that?
Danny Nourian?
He's the fucking Canadian YouTuber that's crazy.
Oh.
Is that the guy you're telling us about?
Yeah.
So, you guys know that guy? He might be watching actually, Bob, the guy who helps me every so often. I wanted to have him on the show because he's super entertaining. He's great to talk to. You'll like him.
Sure.
But anyways, we were doing a boiler job, and I was like, there was asbestos on a pipe we had to take apart. And Nate, the other guy, Nate was there, and we were trying to wet it down and that, and we were like, just be careful. And Nate's like, I don't want to get cancer, blah, blah. He was freaking out a little bit. And Bob's like, get out of here. And he rips off a piece of it and puts it in his mouth and starts chewing on it.
Wow.
You know what? I think I have a little video clip here, Adam. Let me share a screen for a second.
Right.
One
You're
second.
gonna have
See
to
if
share your audio too. So
am I?
yeah, does it have audio or is it just video?
Not really. No.
Oh, okay.
No, I took it out because I was talking to my superior because I was like, not freaking out, but I was like, okay, this is what's going on here. But anyways, let me see if I can do this without 2 monitors. Okay.
Here we go. Does anyone
Wait
have
for
any-
Adam to bring it up.
he didn't even put
Everybody
it on my
say
screen.
goodbye to Joe.
There it is.
Not yet.
There you go.
Okay.
I see you filmed it vertically with your potato.
There we go.
So here's the old stuff of my potato. Here's the old stuff. It's hard, and I show how hard it is, and here it's soft. And that's the burn. That was on the outside of it.
Is that the refractory?
Yeah, that's the refractory. And this, you'll see the smoke. And this is nothing. Like, it was getting bad, dude. And it was just coming and coming. I was like, okay.
Did you buy it from
Eventually-
the boiler company?
Go ahead. Yeah, well, not my company itself. This was my boss's company.
No, but I'm saying, did you buy it direct? Like, is it like an OEM?
Yeah, this is
part?
this is right. You buy him, give me your serial number, and let me stop sharing here. Let me figure out how.
Do you want me to just kick
Sorry,
you off?
guys.
Yeah,
I don't want to.
Just turn him off. There you go. That way he doesn't show his screen and show something
His credit
like
card
his
numbers.
address that he's trying to hide for the last 20 years.
Or his previous tabs.
Am I back? Okay, hopefully I'm back.
Hot goth chicks.
Yeah, you're back.
So you just you tell them your model number of the boiler, and they just send you it to fit that boiler. It's never perfect. And
Obviously.
the guy I was with, the billion, I guess, building engineer, whatever they call him, I was like, is that okay? And he's, I'm like, yeah. It's just the oils. And in my head, I'm thinking, man, this thing's gonna fucking catch a fire or what? But anyways, I kept 2 old pieces on and 2 new pieces, and I left it like that. And it seemed to be all right. But I definitely not gonna change those other 2 pieces.
Did you lick it?
No, they don't make things like they used to, and
I think that's not allowed in California, and I bet you anything that causes cancer.
100%.
guaranteed.
I would bet you it's also
I
not
mean-
safe to chew on asbestos.
When you look at the the maintenance kits for Wild McLean, I just did one. I haven't done one this year, but like for their Evergreen boiler, they have a refractory piece on the top of their heat exchanger, and it says, "Do not," in like capital letters, "disturb the refractory. It has been known to cause cancer."
Oh yeah.
Unbelievable.
Now I wonder if that stuff I play around with in fryers is some sort of refractory. I know it's an insulation heat
Yeah,
shield. or
definitely.
something,
In between the burner and the case, right, Bill? Is that what you're
Yeah.
talking about?
but
Yeah.
between the burner and the vat.
Just let your
Yes.
wife know what you're working on, so like when you do die of mesothelioma, she can join up for a class.
Yeah, she can call one of those ambulance chasing lawyers.
Yeah.
I guarantee that my life insurance probably like has so many caveats that says like pandemics, mesothelioma, all this bullshit isn't covered. So-
What is that? Who's that in skinny jeans?
Who
Is
is
that
putting
Chris?
his
That's
jeans
Chris.
with my shirt on? What the hell is that?
That is amazing. Put that on the.
I sent you that
Post
shit.
it.
I'm not saying he could say who he is in chat if he
Hey,
wants.
Post it on
put
Facebook.
that in the group.
It's
yeah, put
Yahoo.
it right on the group.
100%.
I don't care. I'm good with that.
100%.
I know,
is
you're good.
Yahoo.
I know you're good. That's why I did it.
That's a real life picture. It looked like too.
That is
It does.
hilarious. How the hell did someone get my shirt? Like someone, dude, we got some geniuses in here. Someone
They
made-
are, and great chat, great, intelligent guys, smart HVAC guys, or techs in general in chat. They're awesome.
Mhm.
I like the fact in Facebook that people try to help each other out. You know, there's other
Yeah.
groups where people like tear everyone apart, but I
We don't
like
want
that. Like
that. We
somebody
don't want
posts,
bashing.
they post something, they have a question, and a lot of people are there to help them. That's awesome.
Yeah.
You know?
Absolutely.
Yeah, I never understood. I mean, I understand sort of why people do that, but I never understand the actual mindset of when people are posting questions on there, like tearing them apart for no reason.
Because there's a time where like
Like
you didn't know
would
something,
you-
or I didn't
would you-
know something, right?
Yeah, were
Yeah.
you born knowing everything? Like,
I still don't know something. We
So
all
that
don't know
picture-
something.
is from the 40 under 40. That is the picture I submitted to the 40 under 40 for the
That picture?
Comfort magazine. Yeah, well, not in skinny jeans, dumbass. But
Oh my god,
that white shirt standing like that is from like the 40 under 40 or something like that. That I took that picture of myself.
That is awesome.
Someone
40 inches under 40.
captured that. That is funny.
Those are some tight jeans, though.
Yeah. I wish my legs were that good looking.
I wonder what they look like from the other side.
You want to see? Hold on.
Nice.
Do
I
it.
do.
Shut up.
Wait. Let me wipe the steam off my sunglasses.
Yeah.
I agree, Rick. Rick has a good statement comment right there. What's up, Rick Survival? Because they're a bunch of insecure fucks.
We got to address the
That's
fact
true.
that Rick's wife said that he's never seen the movie Spaceballs.
Oh my
Rick's never seen it?
There's something wrong with you, Rick. You need,
That
seriously,
is-
homework tonight is to watch Spaceballs, and then we'll talk about it on
I
Sunday.
think Rick would like that movie.
That was one of my earliest favorite movies. I remember sitting on a recliner, sitting on my dad's lap watching that. And there's parts in the movie where they were saying like dirty jokes and stuff, and I was laughing, and my dad would look at me like, "What are you laughing at?" I remember
You're like, I'm just uncomfortable, so I'm laughing, Dad.
You'd be like, Dad, what are you laughing at?
Yeah.
Hey, Adam, you have that picture in Hangouts. You somehow, or maybe Chris, you could somehow get it in there, put it on the screen.
Do you want me to put it on?
What's that? I can
And Chris is like, no, don't do that.
Yeah.
Well, let me figure out how to do this.
No, I'll do it real quick. Hold on.
Yeah, there, Chris.
Screen
Chris is
share.
on it.
I'll just screenshot it real quick. It's easier for you, Adam, just to
Boom.
StreamYard. Pop that
Oops.
over there.
Some of you guys don't get excited.
It's a small picture.
There's a hot mess coming on the screen soon.
Oh, whoops. There it goes again.
Bang.
Those are definitely mom jeans, man.
Who the hell?
Pretty sweet. You're
That
working.
was
awesome.
a wife's pair of jeans
You
or
look
something.
like you're working in one of these Andrew Greaves factories.
I think if
Yeah,
the kids would say you got a big old dumper in those jeans, Chris.
Big old
Yeah.
dumper.
That's what they call a
Nice
padonk.
bulge.
What they call a badonkadonk.
Badonk. Oh, man.
Back that thing up should be playing in the background.
That is too funny. I do want to know who made that because I got to give you props. That's pretty
Sean
funny.
did. He said it in chat. That's why I'm going to
Sean?
say. Yeah, Sean.
I don't, Sean, I'll have to see Sean.
Yeah, you know Sean.
You know,
See,
Sean.
that's one reason I don't take full body pictures ever. So
You don't have to. People just cut him in.
That was freaking awesome, dude. I think that stuff is hilarious, and you're not offending me if you make that shit. So I think
No.
that's funny.
Well, I think it all started with that pineapple party picture. That was the thing. That
Yeah. Pineapple party. Yeah, yeah. I had to tell my wife that story too, because my wife was like, "What?" Like she saw something on my phone and something about pineapple, and I was laughing, and then I had to explain to her. I was like, "Yeah, Adam and Bill and Joe told everybody that I was having a swinger party and it was a pineapple party," and then I had to explain to my wife what a pineapple party was, and like the look on her face was like,
Oh man.
she goes,
Oh,
"I'm not interested in that. Just so you know, like that's not okay." And I was like, "I
Only on
know."
overtime.
Only
on overtime.
I mean,
No,
at
that's
least
not okay.
Yeah, at least you know now. You could have just thrown. I mean, she could have been like, "Huh," and you'd be like, "Hmm." You know?
Mhm. She could have been like, were they wanting to come over? That would have been awkward.
You almost let him spit his drink again.
Yeah.
Oh man.
That's too funny.
Yep. That's how you test the waters with your wife, people.
Like, hey, Chris, fancy meeting you here.
Not gonna happen.
Hey guys, my friend told me about this
There
great
was
party.
there was a party. We used to have block parties when we lived in a different house, and there was one block party that my wife ended up going home because she had a young child. I had a young child at the time, but my wife went home, and I stayed out drinking with my neighbors. And I literally woke up in the middle of the morning on my neighbor's front lawn. And I woke up to my neighbor shaking me like, "Hey, dude, you should come inside." And I remember being so drunk that I remember looking at him going, "Nah, cool. I'm going to go home. Like, I'm good." Because I knew that dude was
Okay.
twisted. And I knew his wife was twisted. And I knew better when I was drunk than to go in their house. Oh, and then I walked home and then told my wife the
Holy-
story later.
Wow.
Bill, where have you been? The other Bill in the chat. Where have you been, bud? Anyway, sorry guys.
All right, Joe, take us
I got
out.
funny stories, man, where you wake up in places that you don't remember and you're like, how did this happen?
Yeah,
Well,
we should have an episode all about that.
We should. Bill, I'm sure Bill has some funny stories.
Yeah. Yeah, there's a reason I don't drink anymore.
Oh,
We'll have to do that one.
Mhm.
we
Sharing some mistakes.
have to go, but I promised Randy Ravioli, that I would tell a story. Okay, so
Okay.
he had his neighbor's heat pump not working properly, and he was questioning what was going on because it was freezing up and it was running nonstop. He was questioning the Facebook group, so we all gave him our opinions, and the tech came out, and Randy told him what was wrong before the guy even opened it up.
Nice.
He knew it. He predicted, and you know what? He got a great deal on it because of it. Because he told him, you know what? You have a welded contactor. So the guy, he paid $65 with the part. You can't beat that.
Nice.
Can't beat that.
No.
Can't beat that. That's awesome.
And it's even better because he was actually right, though. It's worse when a customer tells you what it is, and then you get there and like, you didn't even have that part on here.
I would just like to, honestly, it would be a
Warm up.
funny story. Imagine being a HVAC tech and the neighbor comes over.
It says, "Hey, bud, the squeaky deek valve's messed up."
Yeah, he's like, no. And I told him, I'm like, I hope you told them you have a lot of HVAC friends, and that's why you know this. And he's
I'm
like,
sure he told them many times that he probably told them all of our handles and everything. So
Look who showed up. Said, Bill, stories.
Oh, I got
yeah.
a lot of stories.
you're gonna have to make it an episode where your mom and your grandma can't come.
No, I'm transparent. I have no regrets. I
All
am
right.
who I am today because of how I lived and what I went through and how I grew up. And
We'll have to come up with some cool stories. We can't tell them all, but we can.
they're nothing like we killed a prostitute and buried her in the desert. You know, nothing crazy like that.
Yeah,
We don't ever speak of that again.
yeah.
No, that's why we don't go to AHR anymore.
Exactly. The statute of limitations has already passed, so we're good.
That's where Cindy went.
Nice. Thank God, man. 7 years is a long time to wait.
Yep.
All right. Well,
Let's do it.
Let's do it.
Just do it.
Did we do it? Are we not live now?
Are we doing okay? Fuck, I'm so sick of those viewers.
I want you to end it, Bill. It's not the same unless you end it, Bill.
All right.
well, viewers,
I think everybody had enough overtime from us tonight for this week anyway, right?
Yeah.
So let's get out of here.
Yeah.
Go and hit the button if you can find it.
you got to say something witty before we leave.
Hey, let's make sure that next week we really, really cover refrigerant glide and we talk
We
about
will. Okay. We will.
midpoint temperature of the evaporator and how to properly measure superheat. Okay, so we're gonna.
I'll just get this out of the way. Chris wanted to see my butthole earlier. All right, shut it off.
Wow.